Hey Doombots, what's going on? Tony Scangili here with a quick video in preparation for the Resolute tag in Dark Dimension or Pocket Dimension. If you don't know what this is, Pocket Dimension is a short-term, kind of lighter version of Dark Dimension where you get a ton of rewards and helps you unlock Scarlet Spider. A lot of people are worrying about this. Don't know why. So I'm trying to produce as much information as I can to help you get through this without worrying. The first thing I want to say is it's not that difficult. I'm not saying it's easy for everybody. I'm not saying everyone's going to get everything done immediately. It's nowhere near as difficult as I've heard a lot of people seem to think it is. Okay? So, this is every Resolute character. This is my recommendations as to what you should look at. And I'm going to go over really quickly why. I think the best team for this setup is Omega Red, Cersei, Shuri, Scarlet Spider, and Miles. I think Scarlet Spider and Miles work very well together. I think Omega Red single-handedly beats this on his own. Cersei is just an overpowered monster, and Shuri's a decent healer with some defense up and energy battery. This I believe to be the absolute best team, assuming you could bring any of the characters in. Obviously, not everybody has Omega Red. If you do, you shouldn't worry at all about Dark Dimension. The Pocket Dimension. Resolute tag, whatever. You're done. Omega Red and the 5 strongest characters you have will most likely win. We'll go over it when we look at the map. If you do miss Omega Red, you probably have to pay a little bit more attention to synergy. That's where Cersei comes in as a very relevant character. If you don't have either of them, synergy is going to be relevant. I think Scarlet Spider, obviously, most people probably have Scarlet Spider because of the event, but you might not have a lot of investment in him. That's fine. I don't recommend bringing any character under about 70k into this, particularly the harder fights at the end. Again, we'll talk about them in a second. But since 4 of these 5 characters right here are characters that are definitely going to be good in the long term, the 4th being Shuri, you shouldn't have any problem investing in these characters anyway and getting value out of them long term. After that, we move to good options. I think Misty, Yondu, and Multiple Man are good options. If you already have investment in any of them, you should be okay. You get a decent amount of return on investment for Multiple Man because of the Adam Warlock unlock that you'll need. Yondu is now part of a new war team and has been reworked to be pretty good, and his summons are pretty good now, especially in a Dark Dimension style game mode. And if you manage to summon at the right time and kill Ultron in the final node with a doesn't res, you get infinite value out of it. So that's a great option. All these characters are reasonable investments overall. If you have any investment in them, or if you're looking to maybe shore up your fights, getting them a little bit over 65 to 70k will probably help you balance it out. Moving to the next bucket we have is fine. These characters are fine options. Star-Lord, if you happen to be a longtime player and have a large investment in Star-Lord, doesn't have to quite be this strong, but if he's got some work, if you used him in Dark Dimension 2 way back when, him and Groot are great because of an energy battery, an on-demand blind, the ability to put death proofs up, and the ability to clear some debuffs. It's possible to use them, especially if you don't have like Omega Red and Cersei. You can use those characters and fine. Storm can be charged up and used later. You wouldn't use magic without Storm, but if you are using Storm, magic gets a little bit more value. And She-Hulk is actually a reasonable tank with a stun and an ability block. Not great, but, you know, not terrible either. So you can get a little bit of value of these characters. Then we have the meh characters. You wouldn't just use magic. Black Panther's kind of a trap. He doesn't really do much. I wouldn't worry about investing in him gear-wise anyway. Doctor Strange, his only real benefit is the res. Don't worry. Yes, I'm aware he can remove buffs. That doesn't matter. Not for these fights. Again, we'll look why in a second. And Red Skull is another trap. Unless you've already invested in him, it doesn't matter who he summons. He's not inherently better than Yondu. He's not inherently better than Groot. I would rather have both Yondu and Groot than Red Skull in there, but that's just for me. So this is kind of the hierarchy. Basically, start over here, get as many characters as you can from this one, and then you can move across. Now that I've said all of that, let's take a quick look at what everybody seems to be worried about. This is accurate. It has to be, because the people who work on MSF.GG are employed by Marvel Strike Force. This is official content. This has to be real. So we're going to make the assumption that we are not being lied to, and this is accurate. These are the rewards for the first run. These are the rewards for the second run. This is the first fight. These are the character stats. This is the third fight. I'm going to skip around. They're a little bit stronger. This is the seventh fight. The first 7 fights, nobody has a damage stat over 15k. They barely have ISOs. These are not threatening problems. You even have the option of using weaker characters on the early nodes if you want to be a little bit safe. Or you can use your stronger characters like Cersei or Scarlet Spider, or one of the higher investment characters you have, and just kind of use characters that you're comfortable dying on the early nodes. Most players in this game, this is the total health the entire node has. Most players in this game should get to 7. If you can enter Dark Dimension or Pocket Dimension, you should be able to get to 7 relatively easily. So ignoring the difficulty of these nodes or charging up Storm for a big ult, you can go into the last couple, and I'll just show you. They start getting orange gear, but they're not particularly threatening characters. There's no brawlers here to take advantage of Ms. Marvel. This is Iron Man. I've never seen an Iron Man and been afraid in my life. No, neither of you. The crossbones are the only threats. This is just DD1. Now sure, they have a little bit higher dodge chance because of the game mode. Great. All that means is it's going to be harder to hit them, right? But they're still not going to do any damage, this Iron Man's damage stat. These are reasonable investments. This is where the fights start becoming meaningful at 8. And we're going to skip 9 over just to show you what 10 looks like, because you can go here too. This is MSF.GG. 4 million total health on these characters. If you are doing U7 at all, this is never going to be an issue for you. If you've beaten Dark Dimension 2, this is probably not going to be an issue for you. You can see the stats on all the characters. Ultron's health there's nothing here. You can relax now, guys. This is supposed to be fun, and you know when I say it, right? If I'm not being melodramatic about it, there's something to it. This is like a gift. I'm almost afraid to give Scopely too much credit before the next one is twice as hard for half the rewards. But I think you guys are being a little unnecessarily frightened over the fact that you have 7 days to do this. That means that if it takes you 5 days to clear the first part of it, you have basically perfect information with a 1-day cooldown to get the last one done on the 7th day. You know everything. You've had enough time to realize, you know what, maybe my characters at 40, 50k weren't strong enough. Let me work on the ones I do have. But the first run gets you Scarlet Spider, so you can work on him if you haven't already unlocked him from the stuff. The information's available. I'm just putting this out there to give you my advice and just a relax, peace. Don't panic. This looks like a fun game mode. There is no reason for you to have to spend any money or any effort or any resources in characters you otherwise weren't going to spend resources on to beat one Ultron and a bunch of shield inspectors, even if they have dodge rates, even if they have slightly changed buffs and they're running the highest version of ISOs they can. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park. I'm not saying that it might take some time. That's going to be the easiest thing. But it's definitely not nearly as challenging. And the 7-day, I think a lot of people who are worried are going to laugh that they had 7 days to complete it, in the same way that people laughed that we had 15 days to complete the training event to get the orbs anyway, or the Scarlet Spider shard. So hopefully this helped relax you guys a little bit more about this game mode that's going live in now or a couple hours whenever you're watching this. It shouldn't be that terrifying anymore. And that's it. So just quick reminder, the fights themselves are not particularly challenging. There are 10 total fights. This is the payout. It is a great reward structure. And just to close it out on the Resolute tag, best characters, good options, fine options, and you probably don't want to. That said, if you got a 200k or 150k version of one of these characters for some reason, use them. It's not challenging. And the best thing is, the more of these characters you have any investment in, the more likely it is you're going to be successful, because you can leave the fight, restart, shut the app down or whatever, and restart your fight from where you were. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you guys so much, and good luck with your Pocket Dimension. Have a good night. Have a great day. I've been Tony Scangili, and I will catch you later.